Ever wonder what the emergency is? Could be a major incident like a terrorist attack, a derailment or a flood. Then again, maybe someone's had a heart attack or a fall, or a kid's got knocked off their bike.
Bit of a bump on the way up.
Hi-oh.
But it's not all emergencies. Every year, ambulance crews take millions of patients to treatment centres. And every week, paramedics and other crews are there for you if you get hurt at a public event. And the public play their part too. Some volunteers drive patients to appointments in their own cars.
Well, it's a marvellous service around here.
Community first responders are specially trained volunteers who attend to some patients in the vital seconds before an ambulance can reach them. Many highly skilled staff work in the community to prevent accidents and ill health by training, educating and informing the public about how they can help themselves.
Shot delivered.
Saving lives on the ground or speeding the injured to hospital in so many ways. The North West Ambulance Service is your lifeline to healthcare. Delivering the right care at the right time in the right place. England has 11 ambulance trusts. The North West Trust is the biggest with the most diverse population and varied geography. It serves villages, towns, cities and everything in between. It stretches from Carlisle to Crewe and covers Cumbria, Cheshire, Lancashire, Merseyside and Greater Manchester. That's 5,400 square miles with a population of more than 7 million. In this video, we're going on a journey to meet some of the staff and volunteers who make the service what it is.
We provide over 1,000 vehicles, we have over 100 ambulance stations, and we spend nearly £250 million a year with 5,000 staff, so we're also a big business and a big employer.
We begin behind the scenes where your 999 calls are taken. The control centres in the Northwest deal with over 1 million emergency calls per year. They're the nerve centres of the emergency service.
Through to ambulance, what's the address of the emergency?
Basically, the call's connected to the call centre by BT, and one of our call takers picks the call up.
In what town? In Blackpool. I've got their address on my screen. What's the problem? Tell me exactly what happened.
Once they've picked the call up, the idea then is to get a location for the incident as soon as they possibly can so we can get an ambulance running. And also stay on the line where it's appropriate to give advice to the caller in case they're in a very, very serious condition.
Okay, so he does have difficulty speaking between breaths.
As the call's being taken, the call is moved across to the dispatch suite, which is here, where one of the dispatch staff pick the incident up and deploy an incident. And from here, we'll deploy either an emergency ambulance or a rapid response vehicle.
Sierra 1-4, you're going out to a 78-year-old female, difficulty breathing. Got back up running from Royal Blackburn for you.
We also use the most up-to-date communication systems, and we're now putting in place information within each of our ambulances which allow us to be able to tap into directories of local services, so that not just taking people to their local hospital, but sometimes having the choice to take them to the other places where they actually will get more appropriate care.
What we work to is trying to get an ambulance or a rapid response vehicle to a person within 8 minutes. And that's 75% of all cases.
No, but they've managed to...
And our people are trained to a very, very high degree. They're very, very skilled personnel, and they're also very, very experienced. And to be honest with you, without them, we wouldn't be able to function.
Is she conscious? Yeah, and is she breathing?
The exact location and other vital information is relayed to the ambulance crews on the road in seconds.
The route is being calculated.
Longdon Road, 11 June we're going. Means RTA, vehicle versus pedestrian.
Right. Longdon.
The RTA, a road traffic accident, turns out to be a hit-and-run incident. A teenage boy has been knocked off his bike.
So you were on the road and the car came around the corner and hit you. Any pains in your head? You didn't bang your head on the floor that you know of? Any there? Is that just hurting here?
Yeah, just that.
Bit of a bump on the way up.
The patient didn't appear to be badly hurt, but the crew took him to accident and emergency so he could be further assessed.
Right, we'll just need to wait here now. See the nurse in charge.
Andy and Ian are just one of many crews on the road across the northwest at any one time. 100 miles north of Manchester, the crews in Cumbria are just as likely to be called to a rural emergency as a city one. Shona and Lee have been called from Carlisle Ambulance Station to this cattle market to attend to a man who's collapsed and banged his head.
You got a pain up your leg? Sorry, can I just get in there, Dan? Is that all right? Just so that I can hear him. Which leg did you get pain up? Your right one?
We had a 63-year-old gentleman who collapsed at the auction, at the agricultural auction mart in Carlisle. He queried what the cause of the collapse actually was. Probably something unrelated, but he suffered a head injury from the collapse.
Pain in our right ankle, shooting up the leg.
He doesn't seem to have any neurological issues, which is often the case with head injuries and spinal injuries. So we just protect the guy's spine, make sure his airway's patent and maintained, and just essentially look after his vital signs.
Left hand turn, Lee.
I think you've actually gone and fractured this skull of yours. We've left him at the hospital now with the doctors. They're going to do some CT scans and do an X-ray. Because it was mucky, obviously we're in no state to go out and do a job until we get cleaned up. So you'll have to excuse us working whilst talking.
Lee and Shona took their vehicle back to base to be thoroughly scrubbed down and disinfected. Accidents rarely happen in convenient places, and never by appointment.